And good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to GameFace. I am your host, Richard the Razor Ewing. We do this podcast on the Bleav Talent Network. If you are trying to figure out how to put together your barbecue grill, you are on the wrong podcast. If you are trying to figure out which hole the Gophers went in on your lawn, you are on the wrong podcast. But if you are trying to figure out to get the best information for sports in the San Francisco Bay Area and to get an in-depth look on sports on a national level, you just put your game face on. As I said before, I am Richard the Razor Ewing. I'm here with my co-host, Mike the Shoe Shumann. Mike, what do we got today?
Well, there's so much going on in the Bay Area, Richard. We don't even have time for a guest today. So
we're going to you know what? Guess what? And guess what? And this is the thing. The guests, if they don't show up, they don't get on. That's it.
Yeah. We've had a couple of those. All right. Let's start off with the 49ers. I tell you, we talked about the revenge tour, and now this is turning into the hangover, Super Bowl hangover tour. The injuries yesterday was it MetLife Stadium? I'm not sure what it is. They played the Jets and they played the Giants. Next week, they stay back there in West Virginia. Jimmy Garoppolo, high ankle sprain. He's week to week. Nick Bosa out for the season, torn ACL. George Kittle, still week to week with his MCL sprain. Richard Sherman, he went on IR. And by the way, the 49ers defense, if you notice, they played a lot of man-to-man.
Yeah.
Because Sherman wasn't there. And everybody was saying, oh, Robert Saleh made some adjustments. No, he didn't. He just didn't have Sherman because Sherman can only play zone. So Witherspoon and Mosley did a nice job, pretty nice job playing man most of the game.
I'll tell you something. I was actually impressed with Ahkello Witherspoon in that game.
Yeah.
Because
he played well.
Yeah. And
let me finish the list here.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead, finish the list.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert, mild MCL sprain week to week. Tevin Coleman, knee sprain. He'll be out several weeks. DJ Jones, Dre Greenlaw, Western Richburg, Ronald Blair, Solomon Thomas tore his ACL. He's out for the season. And the others are to be determined. So 16 players right now on the injured list for the 49ers. And I kind of spaced out. They were playing last week and went for a walk, came back, and Nick Mullins was playing quarterback. And I was like, oh, my goodness, what the heck's going on here? So, but if you recall, on week one, I took the Cardinals and the Raiders.
Okay, you know what? You're killing me. You're killing me.
2 winners. This week, I took the 49ers and the Saints, and Raiders-Saints tied at 17 at halftime right now. And you know why I'm talking about this?
Why?
Because the wait is over. You might not be at the game this year, but you can still be in on the action on Bet Online. As I mentioned, I took my teams last week and this week, and feeling pretty good about myself.
Okay.
From game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, Bet Online gives you more options to wager than any place online. There's always the online casino as well. We were just talking about that in Vegas. It never closes. So head to betonline.ag today and take advantage of the great sign-up bonuses. Again, that's betonline.ag and sign up today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, so you were impressed with their defense. Of course, it was the Jets, but I didn't see the first half. I came in, they were already up. The game was pretty much at hand. But just watching these players go down, I think we all expected it because these are like the preseason games. And but the Niners have been hit maybe as hard as anybody in the league. And this has been an ongoing issue, I think, since 2012 with the 49ers. It gets to a point where do we have to check their training staff, their doctors, their orthopedics? Is this an issue within, or is this just bad luck?
Well, let's take a look at the fact that, really at the end of the day, I want to first point out the fact that you took the Niners versus the Jets because only a fool would have bet with the Jets. Let's keep it real.
Well, it was 7. It was 7, So.
Yeah, but still, that was just a full bet.
Now,
by the way,
any given Sunday.
In any given Sunday, you weren't.
There's 55 guys on that Jets roster that are all NFL players.
Okay,
now,
but you were
the coaching, the organization, everything else is horse bleep. So it kills me when people say, "Oh, we can get, we'll kill the Jets." Yeah, you can't say that, in the NFL. So go ahead.
But it was funny though, because you were not gonna pick the Jets. That was not gonna happen. Okay.
No.
But this is the other thing.
Well, you don't want to go 0-2 either.
Okay, but I want to point out what was also hilarious, because you know me, I'm not a gambling man. I watch all you guys gamble because you guys got money to do so. But what was
not
funny,
really, but go ahead.
Okay, but what was funny was that there was someone who bet $35,000, okay, on Atlanta to beat Dallas, and they would have made $1,035, and they lost. I was like, are you serious? I was like, okay, first of all, you look at the margin of winning and you think, dude, what are you, dude? Are you out of your mind? I said 35,000, it's actually 3,500. Still, it's like, come on, dude, come on. Look, I'm sorry, shoot, I'm just not a gambling man. I'm not, okay?
Well, I saw the end of that game, and I was thinking, is Kyle Shanahan still with the Falcons? All right, that's cold. I know that's cold.
That was icy. That was pretty icy. I don't think they could have. There was no heat to that last response at all. That was
it's funny too. Charles Barkley on the NBA show at halftime said he just totally looks right at the camera. He goes, "The Atlanta Falcons cost me." He didn't say the number, but he's a big gambler back in the day.
Yeah, he is. He is a big gambler.
In that Super Bowl that Kyle Shanahan was involved when they lost to the Patriots up 28-13, I think it was. So, and then he said he didn't bet on this game, but Atlanta fans, he feels so bad for them. And you can see them all over Twitter. We're done with the Falcons. It's just, you can't, how can you be that far ahead and lose that game? So,
well
anyway, let's get back to Garoppolo. You and I were talking about low and high ankle sprains. I mean, is this something, I personally would rest him against the Giants next week. And I'd rest Kittle next week also. And Mostert, although they're running low on running backs. So what's your thoughts?
I see it more like this. I would do that. I would go resting with all three of those guys. You have, I don't know about you, but McKinnon looked good last week. Okay.
I love his comeback.
Yeah. He looked real good. I don't know if is Coleman available to be ran, or is he?
No, he's got a sprained MCL. So McKinnon could be your starting back, and then they could bring up George Wilson Jr., who's on the practice squad. And they have that young rookie on the practice squad, the running back, Hasty, I think it is. They could also bring him up. So they have people to, it's next man up. That's all it is.
Yeah, but you said Hasty. Wasn't there a James Hasty that used to play?
There was. I think he might have been a Raider. Anyway. So they have plenty of people to bring up, but in the Giants, they haven't found their footing either. So I just hope they don't, if they're saying that field is as bad as they said it was sticky. So I don't know if they had a concert there, because all turf fields are bad, if you ask me. I think they should all go grass. But if there's a sticky substance on top, it's going to also create some issues. So I'm not sure what happened there, but the league's already cleared it for next week. So,
well, I will say this much: I was very impressed with Jordan Reed's play. He actually stepped up in the moment, took advantage of what was available to him. And two nice scores from him. I would imagine that they're probably going to deliver the ball to him more. Kendrick Bourne also played well. I was very impressed with him, which, Kendrick's my guy.
Except for that dropped deep ball.
Well, there's always one. So
that's the problem with Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah. Well, like I said, let's keep it real. They're not, the mature receivers we'd like to see them become.
No, but Jordan Reed is a red zone machine.
Yeah.
That guy, I mean, you look at the plays he made. Both great plays. That one catch, I mean, he just snatched it from the DB and then switched it to the other hand to get it over the end zone, in case he didn't get in. So he's impressive. If he can avoid another concussion, well, that's a great 1-2 punch with him and Kittle.
But, this is the other part. The other part that I'm noticing, too, is that it appears, and I don't know, maybe I may be wrong about this. And I was going to bring this up to you, too. Do you kind of feel like that maybe, certain teams kind of see the kryptonite in certain players and they kind of exploit it?
Oh, yeah, that's what every team does, And like when Sherman went down, I'm sure they went after Spoon early in the game. I didn't see it, like I said, but they didn't have any really wide receivers that threatened anybody. Their wide receivers are worse than the 49ers.
Yeah. Some of that stuff you're going, wait a minute, really? Is that what you're
right.
going to look? The one guy, I can't think of his last name, but from the Jets, I don't know what type of route he was, but it got to a point where the quarterback threw him the ball, and it was like, in other words, if there would have been a few more seconds for that to hang, that would have been an absolute interception. I mean, it was a great thrown ball, but the receiver just totally missed the route. I'm just going, dude, you could have at least ran that a little tighter. You could have, but no, it was just, man. And it just so happened it bounced off of Keller Witherspoon's hands. And to your point, because we brought up, the fact that, Witherspoon and Mosley have stepped up.
I kind of like that combination.
Yeah, they have stepped up.
They're big corners. They'll hit you. They can run with you. Both can play man. Sherm just can't play man anymore. He got beaten in the conference game last year in the Super Bowl. And he's getting to a point where he should have moved to safety or retired. And I would venture to say when he comes back, he will not get his job back.
Well, if he doesn't give his job back, he can still contribute. So if I'm Saleh, it's like you move him to safety.
Because they were just playing zone with him. They wouldn't adjust the man-to-man. And
right. And not only that, but
build a defense around a cornerback.
Right. But he's also, basically Uncle Sherm. And, a lot of the young guys respect him. So that's going to be, veteran encouragement out there for that defensive, backfield.
And he would do it he'd be a good teammate. I'll say that.
Right. And like I said, at free safety, he can still use his insight. Because one thing you got to say about Sherman, he is intelligent. I mean, he knows the game. He's smart.
He knows the game. Be a good coach.
Right. Exactly.
But I think he's done after this year with the 49ers.
Okay. Now, so let me ask you now. Niners finish 9-7.
That's what I picked this year.
Yeah, okay. Does Saleh leave?
Well, I hate to say it. He turned down a potential head coaching job last year. And he said he had unfinished business with the 49ers. Now, if they come back and go 9-7 and that defense doesn't play as well, he's not getting offered another head coaching job. You don't turn down head coaching jobs in any sport. And I understand and I love his loyalty, but he might have just cost himself a head coaching job in the NFL. He might not have a run like that again, as a coach and get to the Super Bowl. You get to the Super Bowl, somebody's going to offer you a better job.
Right.
You come back from the Super Bowl, go 9-7, they're going to go, wait a minute, maybe he wasn't that good of a defensive coordinator.
Well, the one thing I will say is, Mike, I have to disagree with you there. And I think the reason being is because you look at guys like right now, one of the guys I can think of is Matt Patricia. Okay, here's a guy.
Detroit Lions head coach.
Yeah. And by the way, was with Belichick in New England. Got a head coaching job. And you look at his head, what's going on with the Lions. I mean, it's looking like another dismal season. I may be wrong. Maybe 6 games down the line, maybe they can show up, as a playoff contender. But I just don't feel like I feel like this much. Head coaching is a position where you have to be careful because you are putting yourself out there saying, I'm the number one responsible guy for what happens to this team, win or lose. And if you get into a situation where now all of a sudden you begin to win, but then you start to lose and you can't come out of it, and all of a sudden you're losing. And that's what's happening right now with Matt Patricia, okay? Because you look at Detroit, it's like, okay, you know what? You guys were in the driver's seat, okay? At least 2 of the games you were in the last couple of weeks, okay? And you can't get it done. And that says something at the end of the day. Who are they going to point the finger at? Patricia. Because he's
always a head coach, right?
Right. So
they've got
I think Saleh stayed because he thought that they could regenerate what they had. And I think when he did that, he probably didn't foresee all of the injuries that they incurred this season. And then the other word I want to use is something that helped this team last season, and that is resiliency.
No, they have that. I'm not worried about the team itself, but it's just when you play into the Super Bowl, that's like when the Giants play to the World Series, Warriors play, to the NBA championship. You're playing another 50 games, on top of the 82 you played in the NBA. So I think that's what's happened at any Super Bowl team. Even Kansas City doesn't look that sharp. They're kind of squeaking out wins.
Yeah,
so,
they had to win into overtime to get that done.
Yeah,
it was
but the point being that it wears you down, and you might not know it, but I think that's what the Niners are seeing right now. Playing, 16, 16, about 20 games last year, about 25 games. That's a lot of games for the body to take a punishment like that. So I think we're seeing a little residual from that, and then some freak injuries on top of that. So I didn't see Bosa's injury either, but as strong as he is, somebody pretty big must have fell on his leg. So Raiders take a 24-17 lead, by the way, over the Saints, third quarter. So we'll give you live updates here.
Okay, so now this is the other thing. The other thing is that they're saying that the Saints will probably be the team that will vie for the NFC Championship this season. And now you're seeing what you're seeing concerning the Raiders. And this is the thing, I don't know, is it me, or are you seeing kind of with the season with these teams kind of like fool's gold?
A little bit.
Like the product you see on the field is like, okay, and then the end result, you're going, wow. It's like, man, I didn't know that was going to happen. It's like.
Well, I think, too, certain players – need motivation from like the fans, whereas other guys can kind of get themselves up. And it's easy when you're feeling like you're just in a scrimmage because there's no fans in this big cavernous stadium to relax. And that's when you get injured. I was thinking about that today. You can take one play off, you're just not that motivated. It's 2nd and 3, and then boom, you get injured, So I think that could be playing into all the injuries we're seeing besides what we've been talking about. So you got to be careful. You got to stay focused. Anytime you're on a football field, boy, you better have your head on a swivel and pay attention.
Yeah.
So, because you can get hurt really bad. So, I just think they're unlucky right now. And let's hope it's that and not the training staffs. And they have, you and I have been talking about it for years, they've built their depth up now. They're a championship team that has depth for people to step up. Spoon steps in for Sherm. So they'll have players to step up. And they signed, was it Ziggy Ansah?
No, Ansah.
Yeah. So there's an experienced veteran, 31 years old, knows how to play the game. So that's a good pickup there. So I'm not worried about it, especially these first 4 weeks when the 4 teams are playing aren't the top tier teams in the NFL. The Giants and then the Eagles. So, they could get back on track. I was just worried. You take the Jets for granted and they beat you and all of a sudden you're 0-2. The 0-2, I think it's like 10% of teams make it to the Super Bowl that start the season 0-2.
Right.
So that was a huge win just for that reason. And, like I said, I would have taken a lot of players out and rested them. I wouldn't have played Garoppolo the second quarter. You're going to beat that team. Kyle's got to know that too. And
they didn't play him. They didn't play him in the second half. But I'll tell you something.
But he got hurt with 11 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, but what they wanted is they wanted to seal the win because, like, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go 0-2. It's just it's like you said, it's just not a good look. You're 0-2, and everybody's got this idea that you're going to Super Bowl. It's like, well, no, that's not going to happen.
No.
Now let me ask you, because I watched the Sunday night game.
Mullins would have won that game for him, and you would have had Jimmy maybe next week.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you, because I watched the Sunday night game. Okay. It's Seattle and New England. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And
great game.
Was a tight one. That was a tight one. Came down to the wire. And I'm telling you something. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching the last play. I tell my wife, because she's sitting there next to me, I said, okay, one of three things are going to happen here. I said, either Cam Newton is going to try to run it in, and Seattle's going to stop it. Okay. I said, or he's going to try to pass. He's going to throw an interception. Okay. I said, or he's going to try to run it. Somebody's going to drop the ball, and Seattle's going to run it all the way back. Okay. And she's like, she looked at me going, I don't understand. How do you know all this? I says, I've been watching this game long, and I'm telling you, it's Seattle. Seattle is always in a tight situation, and they always find a way to get the win, with the exception of last year in the game against San Francisco, which I was shocked that happened. I was like, are you kidding me?
All right.
Wow. Okay. And sure enough, what happens?
They were two.
Cam Newton. What? Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish.
And what happens? Cam Newton tries to run it in, and he gets stuffed.
Well, he scored earlier in the game like that. It's actually a play where instead of going over in a quarterback sneak, he takes the snap and he just waits and waits, and he finds a hole, but there wasn't there. So I was surprised at that call, but they had scored earlier that way. But his final drive was phenomenal. I mean, he was throwing darts in that final drive to get them down to the goal line. So this guy's back. You can tell he's been injured for about 3 years. And he and Russell were kind of the original, big or not big, but moving black quarterbacks that the league just didn't know how to handle.
Right.
Now you're seeing them everywhere. Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. Right. I think there was 9 black starting quarterbacks in the NFL this year to start the season, which is a great sign. So that's where the league's going. And I just don't think Seattle has the surrounding pieces. Edelman's too old. He doesn't have that chemistry yet with Cam, but that was a good game, a Sunday night game, 2 of the better quarterbacks in the league, and I really enjoyed that game. And Russell Wilson, I'm telling you, he is on I'm going to win the MVP this year tour. Never had a vote, never even been included, and he's just playing as well as anybody in the league.
You look at the guy's history in the league, and you ask yourself, how could they overlook this dude?
Well, that's that West Coast or East Coast bias. He plays late games West Coast. Nobody sees him play. You see the stats the next day, and you go, oh, wow, he had a pretty good game. But you got to watch that kind of quarterback play and create the opportunities he creates. He's not like Garoppolo or Brady or just sitting in the pocket waiting to throw. He's creating plays when they're not there. Yeah, and that's what you miss with that guy.
And that's the reason why I said what I said last week, because I called in a local radio show and I told him, I said, what makes quarterbacks great is the ability to be able to, alter their game in key situations. And I think that's what Russell Wilson, has been doing for years. He's been doing it his entire career. Whereas you have guys that are trying to figure out how to do it now. And you got guys coming to the league that do it automatically because that's what colleges are teaching now. But I just look at Russell Wilson's career, and even Belichick said that, he is a top 3 quarterback in the league.
No question
about it. And I agree with Belichick. I think he's right. I think, and that's the sad part, because me being a Niner fan, I got to look up at this guy every single week going, okay, what is he going to do to change the scope of what we need to do to get to the pinnacle? And every week he does something different. And it's like, okay, this is harder now because of him.
All right. Do you think the Niners handle the Giants this week?
I think
Saquon Barkley out. But
he's out. I think they squeak out a win just simply because the Giants will have to bring in new blood to be able to compete.
Well, so did the Niners.
Yeah, but not like the Niners. Niners will use blood that they already have mixed with new blood, whereas you're gonna have a lot of new blood with the Giants this week.
Right.
Okay, overwhelming amount.
Okay.
We only got a few minutes.
All right, we got to talk about that emblem on your hat. A's have clinched the playoff spot, and they might win their division.
Yeah.
And they're going to do a bubble in baseball. I just saw where Texas Ranger Stadium is going to be one, and that's where the World Series will be held, in their stadium.
Really?
But it'll be able to be one of the bubbles. And the Giants are fighting for that wild card, if I'm not mistaken. So
they still have to win, I think, 4 more games.
Yeah, I was.
They got to go. If I remember correctly, if they go 6-2, they're in. If they
Okay.
win 4 games and 2 of the teams like Cincinnati lose or drop a game, then they're in.
Okay. But for all the talk about how, this new management team is just this analytics is all BS, they've done a pretty good job with a bunch of no-name players. They won 8 or 9 in a row there. And so
I tell you,
got to give them a little credit.
Yeah, and not only that, you also realize that Farhan Zaidi is a lot smarter than people want to give him credit for. And I say give him credit from the standpoint that they all saw what he did in LA and they thought, well, you know what, that might be fool's gold. Maybe it's not genuine. It's like, you know what, they're in San Francisco now and they're recreating what they did down there. So you know what, maybe it is genuine.
Can the A's win it all? I think they lost Chapman. They lost their third baseman.
If their pitching stands, the test of time, then yes.
Yeah.
Because that's where their biggest strength is. It's everybody wants to focus on their hitting, but really their strength is in their pitching.
Yeah, so and their bullpen.
Yeah, their bullpen's amazing. If they can manage to keep that bullpen strong, then yes.
Okay. And then the Giants, we'd like to just see them get in.
Yeah.
All right, NBA, we're down to the Final Four. Anthony Davis made a huge 3 to beat Denver in Game 2. They're up 2-0 on the Nuggets, and Miami and Celtics play tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Miami leads 2-1. I say whoever wins that game tonight wins the series. Whoever wins Game 4 between Miami and Boston will win the series. Okay. If Boston wins it, it's tied at 2. If Miami wins it, it's 3-1. So.
Okay, but you're talking about the series in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
Okay.
On that series. Well, Lakers are beating Denver.
I'm saying let's bring some clarity because I didn't want you to say that they're going to win it all. I was like, well, no. Okay, look.
I'd love to see Lakers-Miami in the finals.
No, I don't. You know what I want to see? I want to go classic. Lakers-Boston.
Yeah, I just think it'd be a better matchup because Miami's come out of nowhere. When Gordon Hayward came back, I think it gives the Celtics a little stability because all those young kids were just playing me ball. Give it to me, I'm going to shoot. So.
Okay, but this is my problem with Gordon Hayward. His biggest issue is he can't stay on the court. Okay.
Well, that's just recent. He was on the court for 8 years in Utah. So. And he just blew out that knee. That as soon as he got traded, 2 games later, I think he blew out his ankle.
Okay.
So I'm going with Miami, LA in the finals. Who do you like?
I tell you, I just want to see LA Boston full time.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I understand that. And then what you think about Giannis got the MVP, and LeBron just went crazy. Of 101 votes, I only got 16 first place votes. Really? And he just was like, and tell you the truth, they got to make it more definitive. Give the MVP award at the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
Because when it bleeds into the playoffs, Giannis disappeared, and LeBron has just come to the forefront.
Yeah.
So everybody said, oh, well, LeBron should have got. No, they need to hand those out at the end of the year, and then they give those other separate awards during the playoffs. Well, dragging this thing out is just it creates this controversy.
Well, this is the thing. We got to keep it real. LeBron knows when to turn it on, okay? It's like, hey, yeah, I can turn it on in the regular season. The only problem is I got to have gas in the tank for when I need it, okay? So when is
and that's the key point. He can turn it on. I don't think Giannis can. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think he can either. I think that's the issue. That's the reason why Giannis keeps getting escorted out of the playoffs every time he tries to go with the Bucks. Now, I'll tell you something else. There's been scuttlebutt that the Bucks administrative office are going to do everything they can to bring him back and give him what he needs to win. I don't believe that. Okay, I think they're lying to him. If I'm Giannis, I get out of there because first and foremost, hey, seeing is believing. Okay, and they have not done that anyway. They didn't even think about championship run until Giannis got there.
Well, would you take him on the Warriors?
Oh, absolutely.
But you'd have to give up Clay and Dre.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, now this is the thing. We had this discussion before. Okay. Draymond, okay. Clay's not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Not giving him up. No.
I wouldn't either, but to get Giannis, you might have to.
Nope. Then guess what? Giannis stays a Buck.
So I think the Bucks are going to try and keep him. After the season, he deleted all his following of the Bucks and all the players. So that's not a good sign. So,
no, it's not. Did you see Steph Curry had recently welcomed Joel Embiid into Under Armour because apparently he introduced his first shoe.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, they got to be careful, man, because that's tampering.
Yeah, it is tampering. But hey, guess what? If there's a charge, Steph can't afford it. So,
Yeah, that's true. And the Warriors would probably pay it.
Yeah, they probably will.
So but a lot going on these days. It's been a lot of fun to have sports back.
Yeah.
And kind of brings everybody together, including you and I. And and the U.S. Open, I got to mention it. Bryson DeChambeau won the Open.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's a kid who gained 40 pounds in the off season of muscle.
Wow.
And feels like if he can hit the ball 400 yards, and then just have a wedge into every green, he's got a better chance of winning. And I'll be darned if he didn't do it in the Open. Now, to me, he's ruined the game of golf. It used to be strategy. Where do I hit this iron? The technology has allowed the golf ball to go 1,000,000 miles now. So now are we going to see all these golfers start to bulk up and lift weights and get big like Bryson? But see, his body won't hold up swinging that hard. So anyway, he's one of the most disliked, I'll say, players on tour, and not for any reason except for the way he thinks about the game. Nobody thinks like he does. He's an engineer. And so it was pretty fascinating to watch. And it'll be interesting to see where that sport goes moving forward.
Well, it's interesting. I also want to point out that just recently, Serena Williams got ousted, okay? And
at the U.S. Open.
In the U.S. Open. And this would have been, I think, is it her 15th major, I think?
I think she's... Yeah, I'm not sure where she is.
Okay. But
she's about to tie Margaret Court, I think.
Well, what's interesting is that she did get pretty high up there. She got like, I think, right
got to the semis.
Semis, yeah, which means she can still play. But on the other end, you look at her and you think, okay, it may be your time to put the racket up.
Yeah, she's 39 now, I think. She has a young child. And when you have a child, especially as a female athlete, it just changes your whole attitude. I mean, it does, we both know as parents, it changes your whole attitude about life.
Right.
It becomes about the child, not about Serena anymore.
Right.
So,
but you know what you had brought up earlier about LeBron, upset because he only got 16 votes. It's like, dude, you know what? And this is kind of what I was saying before. It's like in the NBA, it's a me attitude. Okay. And it's like, man, dude, you got the MVP how many times? You've won the title. You've done all these accolades. It's like,
actually, I think he has 4, and he's been a runner-up, I think, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. So it's like, why are you complaining that Giannis is younger than you? Okay. I mean,
I understand why a veteran would complain. It's just like, really? I mean, I would never be in that stratosphere, but I thought it was kind of like, it came out of nowhere. He was like, really? All you muggers who are voting for me, and this is what I get. So I'm surprised to even talk to the media.
Yeah.
But so Niners stayed back in West Virginia at the Greenbrier. It's a resort there. So they're going to practice here all week. And the MRI truck that was coming to take the MRI,
it broke down.
And then their plane on the way over tapped another plane, and they had to fix that. So they didn't get in until like 2:30 in the morning. Saturday or Sunday morning in New York.
Yeah.
So
I heard about that.
It's telling me it's the it has the whole feeling of the Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything's going wrong right now, and let's hope we can get it right.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna close it out. And first of all, Mike, as always, man, this is always fun. This is GameFace. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Mike the Shoe Shumann. We do this every Tuesday night. Thank you for listening. We do this on the Bleav Talent Network, and you are welcome to listen anytime. However, if you come on, you better bring your game face.